What's up, everyone, and happy Wednesday, happy hump day. We are halfway through the week, and again, I'm just very excited to only have really 2 more days. Well, honestly, I have one more full day of work because I'm taking a half day tomorrow morning and a half day on Friday, and then I have an extended weekend because I took some PTO for next week. So actually, I just really needed to get through today, of my full day today, and the next 2 days should be a breeze, and then I'm pretty much on vacation. So I'm very much so happy about that. Hope everyone is having a great start to their Wednesday. We're gonna jump right into today's video instead of me having my normal rant. We're just gonna hop right in. So as always, God is blessing us. He's always gonna be blessing us. Resurrection. Okay, we are talking about resurrection. And that's obviously our topic for this week. And we really want to make sure that we're tying that into our goal focus for the month, which is to be alive. So what do those two things have to do with one another? Well, obviously, like if you, again, look at it on the surface, to be alive is to be living. And if you are dead, or if you have experienced dead areas in your life, or have gone through a dead season, or a dead environment, it's hard to focus on the living in places that are dead. So when we're speaking about resurrection, we want to make sure that we are not contributing to the dead, okay? That we are always contributing life-giving or living things into every situation, and that we ourselves are not dead, okay? Last week, we discussed living versus dead and making sure that we understand the difference between the two, and we also understand when things need to remain dead. So those bad things like bad habits, bad people that we may have come in contact with, when they need to remain dead or dormant or out of our lives. And then also, we took a brief look at areas that we may have deprived of life that should be living. And that could be us in general. Like, have you deprived yourself of living a life full of life? And that is a loaded question in itself. Okay, have you deprived yourself of life, of living a life full of life? Great question. And honestly, I should write that down and have some reflection afterwards, because I don't even know. I'm not gonna say I don't know. I know that I have, in certain areas, deprived myself of living a life full of life. And I could tell because, number one, I wasn't living in my purpose, and we know living really all routes back to making sure that we are understanding and living in our purpose. But I have experienced, and I think I've shared this several times on these videos, but I haven't experienced that blessed life that I know that I was created to live. Like, just a quick snippet about me. As many know, like, my parents raised me as a Christian. So I grew up in church. I grew up understanding and knowing that I'm supposed to live a certain type of life based off of what I've read and the promises that God had given me. But I wasn't experiencing any of that. Well, I won't say any of that. I wasn't experiencing it to the fullest. And that was because I was depriving myself of living a life full of life. I was not doing the things that God told me to do. I was honestly just doing my own thing, going my own way. And it wasn't until I realized what my purpose was and started to walk in that purpose did I start to breathe again. Okay, so did I stop depriving myself of life? Okay, so I kind of resurrected, or allowed myself to be resurrected, in that I understood my purpose, I knew my purpose, and then I started walking in my purpose. So that was me honestly coming back to life and starting to live a life full of life. So resurrection, what does it mean to what does resurrection mean? It means, or it is the action or fact of resurrecting. And what does it mean to resurrect? It means to restore, revive, regenerate, revitalize. But in some instances, just restoration of life. So, or another definition, another definition, my mind is going everywhere, so let me focus. Another definition that was also used was to breathe new life into. And I really liked that because, similar to the situation I was just saying about myself, like even though I was alive, okay, on the surface, I was just existing. And when I finally allowed myself to take in that new life, or to become resurrected or restored, I started to live. And that, honestly, I know on Monday we talked about that that re prefix, that is really what that is all about, is understanding the re in restore, or the re in resurrection. Is not saying that you weren't before, because when we were created, again, we were all created to live a certain life. We were created to live this blessed life. We were created with our purpose in mind, and it was intent. The intent was that we would live in our purpose so that we can experience the life that we were created to live. However, somewhere along the line, we, again, did our own thing. We got mixed up with different people, got mixed up in different situations, and we started to pull back, or we started to go in the opposite direction of the life that we were created to live, which honestly takes away from the blessings that we were supposed to receive. So when we're talking about re, and the prefix re, I had to look that up, it just means that you're going into a backwards motion. So we're going back to that life that we were created for. Okay, so if you have veered off into a different space, no worries, because within resurrection, it's all about getting ourselves back to that place so that we can live a life full of life, and we can start to experience the blessings that God has given us. And really, that's what it's all about. Okay, that is what it's all about. So on Friday, because I know the question out there is, how do I get there? On Friday, we're going to talk about how we go about that resurrection process, and how we make sure that we are going back to living a life full of life, so again we can experience everything that God has for us. Okay, all right. And I just decided to share my story. That one was for free. No, just kidding. But hope I made that clear for everyone, because that is a very key point in being alive, is making sure that you have distinguished the difference between the dead areas and the areas that are alive, and then within those areas that are alive, making sure that you understand the difference between existing versus living. So it's kind of like understanding, you have to fully understand the first 2 weeks of what we talked about this month in order to start this resurrection process. So again, that's what we'll talk about on Friday. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day today and a fabulous Thursday, and I will talk to you guys again on Friday. Bye.